Helmy Fauzi is a member of the Indonesian Parliament's Foreign Affairs and Defence Commission. Helmy Fauzi, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You've been quoted as saying that Australia must not use Indonesia as a dishwasher when it comes to the question of asylum seekers. What did you mean by that?
No, we feel that we are under pressure from Australia to clean the mess. That actually the problem of Australia. These asylum seekers, actually, their main destination is Australia. We realize that as a transit country, we also have to share responsibility concerning these asylum seekers. But it doesn't necessarily mean that Australia should put all the burden to us.
You talked there about sharing responsibility. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott says that Indonesia has an obligation to take back asylum seekers rescued within Indonesia's search and rescue zone. It's a fair point, isn't it?
Yes, I understand the concern of Prime Minister Tony Abbott, but at the same time, Australia should also take into consideration our capacity to host these asylum seekers. It depends on what their final destination. And for us, I think we should also done our responsibility in terms of humanitarian assistance to rescue them. But I think in the end that Australia should also speed up the process to grant asylum for those who seek refuge in Australia.
You're not prepared, are you, to accept the idea of a swap, that is, asylum seekers back to Indonesia, refugees to Australia?
No, we are not ready for that. We are not ready for that because I think we have no capacity to do so. So it will create a burden to Indonesia to host a huge number of asylum seekers.
And do you think that would be a general view within the Indonesian Parliament as well, not just one being held by yourself?
We feel that we just do a favor for Australia, not really to serve Indonesian interests. So I think we should discuss the arrangement that not only serve the Australian interests, but also we have to consider Indonesian stake there, Indonesian interest there.
Do you understand why the Australian government would find it both confusing and frustrating when a senior advisor to your Vice President says a people swap is being discussed, and then your coordinating Minister for Security and Political Affairs, Joko Suyanto, says there's no such deal?
So we never discussed this. And also in our hearing with our Minister of Foreign Affairs, we never touched the issue. So for me, it's a bit confusing as well that there is this idea. I think I never heard this before.
Is the issue of asylum seekers getting more attention in Indonesia these days as your country gets closer to next year's elections?
I think because of some comments in Australia, that Australia will do some kind of info gathering activities and try to buy, for instance, the ships or the boats used by the asylum seekers. So it creates polemics in Indonesia that Australia tried to interfere with Indonesian domestic politics. On
another subject, why is Indonesia so angry about the recent allegations of Australians spying when it's been public knowledge for decades, at least since the 1970s, that Australia has been spying on official Indonesian communications?
When it was revealed that you systematically put surveillance equipment to tap the conversation of your neighbor, then we will consider it's not an activities a friend does. We have to sit down and we have to get some assurance from Canberra that it won't happen again.
Helmy Fauzi, thank you very much.
Thank you.